Dahil sa ginugunitan natin ngayon ang ika-36 na anibersaryo ng EDSA Revolution, babalikan natin at puntahan natin ang isang relihiyosong at sagradong lugar na naging parte na makasaysayang EDSA Revolution. Ito yung Carmelite Monastery dito sa Mabolo, at isisiwalat ko sa inyo, isasalaysay ko sa inyo kung bakit naging parte ito ng makasaysayang EDSA Revolution dito sa Carmelite Monastery. Ito itinatag, ang Carmelite Monastery ay itinatag noong Mayo 13, 1949, at ito ay mga pinamamahalaan ng mga Carmelite Sisters. Pasukin po natin ang Carmelite Monastery at alamin kung bakit ito ay naging parte ng makasaysayang EDSA Revolution. Dito sa maliit na gate na to ng Carmelite Monastery, pumasok ang as political aspirant na si Cory Aquino, kasama ang kanyang anak na si Chris Aquino, who was only 14 years old. She was being assisted by Nancy Cuenco, no? The wife of Congressman Cuenco, then the late Congressman Cuenco. Dito dumaan sila, hindi doon sa may main gate. Dito sila, ang kanilang sasakyan, they put off the light, at dito sila secretly dumaan at pumunta. At ito yung parking area ng monasteryo ng Carmelite. They hurriedly parked the car here. It was around 11 o'clock. That is the main gate of the Carmelite Monastery. Pero ang ginamit nga nila, yung maliit na gate, put off the light and hurriedly went inside the monastery. This is the Carmelite Church, pero diretso tayo doon sa Carmelite Monastery. It was mga 11 o'clock in the evening dito. Dito itinago si Cory Aquino sa relihiyosong sagradong lugar na to, thinking that it would be safe for her to be hidden here, kasi nga there was a perceived threat of her life ng mga military, because Cory Aquino was here during between February 21 and 22. Nandito siya sa Cebu to launch the civil disobedience, at while ongoing yung pag-defect ni na Fidel Ramos, ni na Enrile, ang defection nila, at nag-launch na nga sila ng EDSA Revolution. So dito sa lugar na to, sa second floor na yan, diyan, doon itinago secretly si Cory Aquino. At sa second floor na yan, doon siya nilagyan ng isang kwarto. Para doon matulog, but she decided to join with the nuns, with the Carmelite nuns, kasi may takot na she was afraid, especially she was with her daughter. So she decided na to join na lang with the nuns sa isang maliit na kwarto, not yung kwarto na assigned to her na mas malaki, because she wanted to also to join the prayer, no? Ito yon. So the Carmelite sister, she even asked, is it safe here? Magiging safe ba ako dito? The Carmelite nun answered, mamamatay muna sila bago nila they put harm to Mrs. Aquino. Sabi ni Mrs. Aquino, para pa lang itong sa Sound of Music, no, sa Van Craft family, where they are being chased by the Germans. Ayan, ito po yung inside, but we cannot go inside. Ito, this is going to the altar. Ayan. Ayan. They stayed here for more than 14 hours, si Mrs. Aquino with her daughter, and they were provided shelter and safety sa lugar na to. Kay ano nga, sino bang mag-aakala na dito that they will hid here, na dito sila magtatago? So, hindi makakalimutan sa kasaysayan talaga ang nagawa ng mga Carmelite sister to protect Mrs. Aquino from the perceived threat of the military who have plans allegedly to arrest those who are staging civil disobedience against the administration of President Marcos. At ito yung simbahan ng Carmelite Church na I usually come here, especially I have petition, no? Prayers and offer prayers yung for the sick. At the same time, I remember my friend Shirley who offered yung eggs nga para yung birthday ko last July 12 will have no rain. Nag-offer siya sa monasteryo ng mga itlog. Many do come here to pray. Carmelite Monastery and the church is located in Mabolo Street, no? Ito talaga napakasagradong lugar na to. Solemn prayer dito ginaganap, at sabi ko, if you have petition, no, you offer yung ang karamihan sa naranasan ko, I offered eggs. Yung I requested for the bar examination, for have a successful bar examination of my niece Kim and nephew Ralph. At the same time, the complete healing of my mother. Dito ako pumunta sa simbahan ng Carmelite Monastery. The Lord was in the tiny wings, was in the tiny whispering voice. Hindi na makakalimutan. I always come here, especially during the anniversary of EDSA Revolution, to remind me how important the role that has been played by the Carmelite sisters to protect Cory Aquino when there was a perceived threat of her life during that 4 days EDSA Revolution, where they were threatened by arrest from the military dito sa lugar na to. As we celebrate the 36th anniversary of the EDSA Revolution. Magandang balikan ang kasaysayan kung naparte ng Carmelite Monastery sa EDSA Revolution noong April 22, 1986. Cory and her group arrived at the convent past 9 o'clock in the evening with the car's light turned off to avoid detection. The car also went through compound's smaller gate meant for supply and delivery. And then Cory asked, "Is it safe here?" Out of the blue, the nun answered, "They have to kill us first before they can reach you, madam." Because of that, she felt safe, said the nun. The Carmelite Monastery, being home to contemplative nuns under papal enclosure, is off limits to outsiders. Only heads of states are exempted from such rule. Marcos, who was held into power over a country for more than 20 years, had just been declared the winner in the snap election against Cory Aquino, the widow of the assassinated Benigno Ninoy Aquino. In the eyes of the Filipinos, Cory won. Nobody is supposed to enter the monastery, but we allowed Cory in because we really believed she won the elections, and so she was the rightful head of the state at that point in time. We let her in with a clear conscience that we didn't violate the church rules. For us, she was the head of the state. Cory and Chris were to occupy the most comfortable room located in the monastery's second floor. She chose a smaller room where she and Chris slept among the religious images and office supplies. Again, good morning mga kalakwatsera. As we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the EDSA Revolution, we are again reminded the beauty of democracy, that we have the free will, we have the free speech, we have the free press, worship our religion, to vent what we feel, what we want to express, but there is the reminder. Freedom should have responsibility. Once we abuse our freedom, it will also ruin the essence and the beauty of democracy. This is a very divisive episode in our history, especially the election is fast approaching. I always believe that election, suffrage is a very sacred right, and election is vital in a vibrant democracy. But always remember that we should not rely our life, our future, our well-being, our existence on political agenda. Politics is just like a parcel of our life. Politicians will always lure us, especially now as we notice, gamit na naman ang mga mahihirap. I always believe that a democracy, in order to flourish, people should be taught discipline. People should be taught responsibility. People should be taught accountability. We should not rely to any person who sits in power because it's all temporal. Lahat ng mga yan will give promises, will give so that they will just win our vote. But we always be reminded na sa atin pa rin nakasalalay ang ating kinabukasan. I just want to have a very emphatic emphasis on the separation of the state and the church. The church should be non-partisan when it comes to politics. They should be the moral and the spiritual compass without siding to anyone. Because a church is, the church role in our society is to be a spiritual guide, but they should not involve in politics. But that is very, very hard, especially in a culture like us. Like, who have the biggest contribution during fiestas? It is the politician. Who have the biggest donation in building churches or parishes? The politician. And it's sad as it may seem, sad as because it is the reality that politician always cohorts with men in robe, with people from the church, especially when they have the intention of running, nagagamit talaga ang simbahan, as what has been proven sa kaso ni Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo with this very scandalous administration. But when she took oath on the office, nasa entablado po ang mga pare while she was taking her oath when the President Estrado was deposed. Also during the incumbency of Noynoy Aquino, there were so many scandals, but it was the mouth of the church were all sealed. People in the church were all sealed because they were the direct benefits of what the generosity given by the incumbency of Noynoy Aquino and of course the notorious Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. And so people were fed up. Nagkaroon tayo ng a person who is in contrast with what the church have been teaching us to vote. A person who had defied the norms, the mores of the church in the person of Duterte. But nagkaroon tayo ng Duterte because we are all fed up with moral hypocrisy, with the self-entitlement, with double speak with the oligarchs. Ngayong eleksyon na to, ang dapat hanapin natin ay isang liderato na who will inspire us, who will unite us. Tandaan natin sa nangyayari ngayon sa the war against Russia and Ukraine, that will be a reminder na kailangan natin ng liderato who is willing to negotiate, who will go for diplomacy, hindi yung radical ang pang-iisip. We want to have a government that is inclusive, not diverse, that will inspire us, that will unite us. Kasi pagkatapos ng pandemic na to, there should be moving forward, hindi yung we will be witch hunting kung sino ang nagkamali, kung sino ang dapat isuplong, kung sino dapat yung mga scandals na, because every administration has their own share of the scandals, and we should blame the form of government and the kind of government and culture we have. Huwag na tayong magpaka-ipokrito. Lahat ng yan, with no exceptions, have their own shares of scandals, and this should be blamed to the kind of government we have, the form of government and the culture that we have. But this time, I hope we should look for someone that will unify us, not divide us. That should not be combatant. That should be open for dialogue. At tingnan natin, we should be learning a lesson now of the threat what have Putin put the world into. Ayun, tataas ang presyo ng mga gasolina. Stock market will be plummeted because of this uncertainty and the threat of our peace and order. Kaya nga, this is not a political post. I just want, at least in the remaining years of my life, for my nieces, for my nephew, for the future generation, this is for you. Kailangan po natin ng gobyerno that will heal us, that will, yung parang, takip ng mata ng kabayo, that we should move forward. Let's not look back. Let's not look back. We should move forward as one country, united, not divided, inspiring each other. At dapat hindi mapag-iiwanan ang mga masa. It is not the few rich, the oligarchy rich, and the most of the people are poor. Mabuti na lang ngayon, because of the information technology business, marami ng mga kabataan ang have been employed, are aware, and of the advent of social media, hindi na naging mga tao. We are now free to have an access of information. We have an access of knowledge and information. But please, siphon those information that will really inspire us. No fake news, no hates, walang entitlement, walang brainwashing, no, sabihin natin, revision, is we just respect it. At nasa atin na po yun kung ano ang pakikinggan natin, kung ano ang babasahin, but we should respect each other's ideology. That's all, and we should celebrate the EDSA revolution on the 36 years because with EDSA, we have reclaimed our democracy. But the biggest question, what happened to us after the EDSA? Good day.